Last week, I was making my rounds on the news, data sources I check on a daily basis, and something struck me. A clear theme was emerging. American consumers aren't looking very good. Chart after chart, report after report showed different views of the exact same problem. But at the same time I was looking at this, I also see talking heads on the news talking about how strong the economy is, how resilient everything is. So I decided to dig in myself to check the facts, to get the source data, and dive into what ordinary people are facing and feeling right now. Because this stuff matters a lot. Of course, it matters on a personal level. After all, we are all American consumers. We are part of the data, and we are impacted by what's going on at large in the economy. But it also matters in a macro sense as well, because 70% of GDP, of our country's total economic output, is made up of consumer spending. So if consumer spending slows, so does everything else. And that could impact the stock market. It could send us into a traditional recession. It could impact the performance of our portfolios. And it is actually already starting to do that. I'm going to share with you some recent data that shows how real estate investor behavior, not just sentiment, actual sales and purchasing behavior has changed over the last several months. This stuff does really matter. So I want you to have all the facts. Here they are. Let's start with how American consumers are feeling. And we're going to talk about their behavior and go into some other data in just a minute. But I really like to track how consumer confidence and consumer sentiment is tracking over time. And a few weeks ago, I actually reported on this because there was a major headline saying that consumer confidence hit an all-time low. I know a lot of people like to throw out things like that and say, oh, it's a record low, when they just mean it's the lowest it's been in a while. This was actually the lowest it has ever been in the history that consumer confidence has been tracked. More than 70 years of data. Last month was the lowest it's ever been, until this month, where it went even lower. If you look at it now, it goes to a 45. I know that number probably, in a vacuum doesn't really make any sense to you, but I'll just give you some context here that the average consumer sentiment over 7 years that it's been tracked is an 85. We are now at a 45. Now, it's been below that 85 average for a while, basically since rates started to go up, but it was in the 60s or 70s. So coming all the way down to 45 is a significant deterioration. It's basically just been going almost straight down for the last 6 to 8 months. And this doesn't happen often. This is lower than it was during the great financial crisis.